Hey, what's going on? It's Umbra, and another year is coming to a close. I say that, but I'm recording this in November, for good reason. There's a couple updates I want to announce before getting into what games I've selected for next year. Now, these updates don't affect the daily uploads, so in case you want to just skip right to the games, I will include a timestamp somewhere around now, so you can just get to it. Alright, so you're still here. I have 4 updates to disclose. The first one is Blue Protocol content. So you may have noticed that I've uploaded a few Blue Protocol Star Residence videos about Season 1. Nothing too big or important, but I want to state that these videos will always be self-contained. They'll be in their own category and their own playlists and won't have any effect or implication on the existing schedule. So if you don't care about BPSR, then rest assured, the standard games will always continue, and you can feel free to ignore this category on my channel. The second update is related to frequency of series. Essentially, 2026 will be a slow start, strong finish approach. The new year is bringing a lot of uncertainty for me. It's just some personal stuff, but this will demand my attention most likely until the end of March. And so I just want to give a little heads up that for Q1 of 2026, you will most likely only see 1 series a month. I know, I'm disappointed too, since I was anticipating getting ahead of some of the games so I could play some other titles in my spare time, but life happens. That being said, once my affairs are in order, I should be back to normal come April or May, and I'll be able to manage more games and series as the year goes on. Already 2025 was a fantastic year, where I was able to play not just more games on the channel, but also in my free time, which makes me believe that I've developed a good balance in content consistency. Next up, I am very proud to announce that I have upgraded my PC. That is correct. The PC that I've been running and recording and encoding and editing for the past decade, I would say, since 2016, is finally leaving the Stone Age. I've replaced pretty much everything. For example, my RTX 1060 GPU is now going to be an AMD 9070 XT. I lied, by the way, at least at the time of this recording, but I'm not when this video is being released. I'm going to be upgrading everything from my CPU, GPU to a new motherboard and RAM, which is bloody expensive right now. So moving into 2026, I no longer have to fear those UE5 games or high-spec requirement titles. I will also be able to record and stream at a higher bitrate, which means that the quality and encoding should also notice some major visual improvements. And finally, the last update I have is that I will most likely be going to Japan, sometime either in winter 2026 or early 2027. Now, I have never been to the East, been to Japan, but man, have I played a ton of games with it being the setting. I was honestly planning on recording most of my experiences when I do go, but with foreigners now having a not so great reputation, I figured I'll probably be sharing my adventures through photos that I'll be taking. Many photos. I wanted to announce this now because next year it may be either too late to tell you or I just forgot about telling it in the first place. That being said though, even when I'm gone, there will still be daily videos as if I never left. And that's all the updates I have as we progress into another year. As of now, I've only selected a total of 12 new titles of interest to accommodate for the slow start that I mentioned in the updates. Now do keep in mind that I selected these current games before the Steam Winter Sale, so perhaps there may be unmentioned titles that will appear later in the year, who knows. Standard rules apply for this year as they did with last. Every one of these games will begin on the 1st of every month, and midpoint games that happen on the 16th are being postponed until roughly April or May. This is where you can expect unmentioned titles. So before we start, here are the paths that we have walked in 2025. Not bad, right? This time Judgment didn't take 5 months. Okay, I've stalled enough. For January, we are going to begin with Kingdom Come Deliverance. I bet you weren't expecting another RGG title to start us off, huh? Well, don't worry, there will be one later. I haven't been able to play many Western games as I'd like due to most of them requiring heavier specs, so we're starting off the year with a new series and a new developer. This is the first game I'm playing by Warhorse Studios, and from their Steam page it seems that KCD is their only franchise, but maybe that's just on Steam. I'm really looking forward to playing this one because it seems to be much slower paced and focused on roleplay. which I do enjoy. Moving into February, we'll be debuting Trails from Zero. That's right. This year, I'm starting the second Legend of Heroes story saga early. Last year, I admit I had to rush the Sky trilogy because I wanted to keep it self-contained for 2025. Although my personal enjoyment wasn't affected, I'd like to better pace this franchise from now on since I have a good idea on how long each title takes. And now, we're already in March, which is hopefully the last slow month, in which we will be playing Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. You know, it's crazy that it took this long for me to play a mainline Yakuza game on the channel. We played both Judgments, Ishin, and Gaiden before getting to this, but here we are. For context, I have played Yakuza 0 to 7 in my own time before I did YouTube, so unfortunately you're just going to have to assume that I know everything that's happened up to this point. In April, I will finally be getting to Dead Rising. This is a title that I had intended to play last year, but for some reason, I actually didn't own it. For clarity, this is also the original version, not the remake, which I do also intend to play, but not at this time. May is up next with Atelier Rorona, The Alchemist of Arlen DX, another title I intended to play last year but just ran out of time. Similar to Trails, I want to accomplish at least 3 of these a year to stay on top of these longer franchises, and we have arrived at the midpoint of the year with the month of June. I will be playing Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, because what better month to experience the end of the world when it's 27 flippin' degrees outside. I enjoyed SMT3 a lot, despite how much I complained about the traps and puzzles that pissed me off really. I am looking forward to seeing more of this IP because, frankly, there aren't really that many of them on Steam in the first place. Moving on to July, we'll be continuing the Legend of Heroes with Trails to Azure. Not much else to say about this other than it's a new cast and a new country, which is very exciting. I just hope Falcom does tone down the Mistfulls just a little bit, please. August then is up next, which is convention month for me, and we'll be starting the Devil May Cry HD collection. So last year, I was going to play DMC5, but I realized that the rest of the games were on Steam, so I figured it would just be best to play all of them in order from 1 to 5. Now I'm not sure how long each one is, but I'll do my best to fit them all into 1 month. Don't worry, I'll make it work somehow. And next is September, which will be dedicated to Atelier Totori, The Adventure of Arlen DX. I'm curious if all the alchemists in each trilogy are either related or acquainted to each other. There's probably some sort of shared world connection between them, so that's why I'm really looking forward to starting this series from beginning to end. And now we're approaching the end of the year once again with October, which is crazy to say. What better spooky game to play too at this time than Persona 3 Reload? I'm excited to play this because it's finally a 3D world instead of the visual novel aspect that we had in P3P, but most importantly, the music, because Atlus always delivers. Additionally, I also bought the expansion pass, which, yes, I know, is not included in the digital premium, so yet again, another predatory bait that I took. I love gaming in the year 2020s. In November, we will be concluding this year's Trails with the spin-off, or standalone of The Legend of Heroes, or The Legend of Inayuta, Boundless Trails. This game doesn't appear to be linked to the other Trails games, or the Heroes games maybe, but is nonetheless of the same universe and type of style from what I can tell. Now since Zero and Azure are only a duology, I figured I can just wipe this one out alongside them. And finally, to conclude the year, in December, I will be ending on Atelier Meruru, The Apprentice of Arlen DX. This will conclude the Arlen trilogy and this year's lineup. Now, if any of these titles are not long enough to make it from the start to the end of its given month, I will most likely simply push the next title ahead to begin after a short series end. In the grand scheme, I don't think this will affect the schedule too much, as it will simply make more room in the later months of the year for additional games to fill in. Naturally, when those later months come, I will probably be bringing back the midpoint games, so I'll be not just in a better position to manage several series, but those gaps between games will probably not even exist at that time either, if that makes sense, which makes this structure beneficial for me. But for tonight, that's all I got for you. Here is a final full list of the 2026 lineup that we just discussed, and what you can roughly expect going into the new year. As for Umbra and I, we have preparations to make for tomorrow, so I will see you next midnight.